I'll just touch on Age of Empires super fast, and then we'll talk about Diablo.
The Age of Wonders.
Age of what did I say? Did I
You
say
said
Empires?
Empires.
I always
You
mix
also
that up.
type. You also typed Empires in the doc.
Did I
Which,
really?
yeah.
Yeah. Eh. Age of Wonders. I don't know why I keep thinking Age of Empires. Probably because I don't know. So Age of Wonders, yeah. As far as Age of Wonders is concerned, I'm on the last story mission, and I decided to take like a very brief pause on Diablo to try and finish it. I am like, oh, I'm so close. I like it is the most frustrating mission, but I'm very close to being able to beat it. I'm giving myself, like I said earlier, a day or two to try and get there. If I can't, I'm gonna just hard pause it and then play Diablo. I'm only level 35 because I ended up pausing Diablo. Um, so we can. Okay, that's all I wanted to say on Age of Empires of Wonders. Um, I haven't played anything else besides Age of Wonders and Diablo. To be honest, that's relevant new releases. Um, okay, Diablo. You finished the campaign of Diablo, the all the acts.
Yep.
You're in the Paragon system now.
Yep.
You've probably done some additional end game content. Probably are on world tier 4, I would imagine, maybe 3.
Yeah. I've unlocked 4, but it's a little bit more trouble than it's worth to play 4 right now because
Yeah,
we
I
did
figured.
the Kyle and I, we did the dungeon to unlock tier 4 at like level 60, which was quite difficult.
Yeah.
Um, the boss was basically one-shotting us, so it was
Oh,
very difficult, but we did beat it. Um, but going into tier 4, I'm level 65 now. Um, but going into tier 4, it's just like it, it it's just not worth it. It just
yeah, you're
takes
not
too
there yet.
long.
You're
It
not there
takes
yet.
too long to kill stuff. Um,
You gotta grind. Keep
yeah,
grinding. That's all you gotta do.
yeah. I'm at the grind. I'm definitely at the grind phase, and
Yeah.
I'm definitely not playing it as much now as I was, the first like last weekend or early this week when there was still like
Things.
new stuff to do.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, now it's literally just the grind. You
Recycle
do
stuff.
nightmare dungeons and you do helltide basically,
Yep.
and that's kind of it. Like the bounties exist, but they're kind of crap in my opinion. They're just like too slow,
Yep.
and the rewards aren't that great. So
Yeah, the grinding part obviously is the most, I don't want to say boring, but you know the feeling of like when you're just grinding
I
the same thing over and over again. Very
I'm not I,
tedious.
I'm not a grinder. These hardcore ARPG players, they are super grinders. They just do the same thing over and over again, do it the most efficient way, and I just can't I just can't play that long in this state. I can go in and play for like a couple of hours, especially if I'm playing with Ghost. It makes it more entertaining,
Right. Of
obviously,
course
to
it
like
does.
play
Yep.
with someone else.
Yep.
But
Of course. But by
but
yourself, it's
yeah,
very difficult just because you're
and
just
with
like, uh,
yeah, and with Nightmare Dungeon, there's probably only about like 15 to 20 of them,
okay.
like nightmare dungeons. And they said that before the game came out. They said like not every dungeon is gonna have a nightmare dungeon. They're gonna rotate them, I assume seasonally. They're gonna rotate the dungeons that are accessible for to be nightmare dungeons. But right now, as I said, I think there's probably only 15 to 20 of them. So
Yep.
you're pretty much running the same dungeons over and over again.
Yeah. Which after a while you're like, I don't understand how people do these grinds for like 16 hours to fall asleep. There are people like this though. They're just like they want to do like the optimization. They want to focus optimization. They know that they have to grind for it, and they're willing to do it because they're. I don't want to say like they just don't have anything else to do at the moment. They're just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna focus all my energy here. It's the to
Yeah,
me to me this is like the people that do the freaking NBA 2K card pack crap. You don't do anything else but you play NBA 2K, you open card packs, you recycle the same thing over and over again. And like yeah, you play the basketball game. But like people want to do that. There are people that just want to do that same recycled thing over and over again. Um in Diablo's case, you're kind of just recycling the exact same thing, so it's a little bit different. But people just want to do that. People just really want to do that. They're like, I just want to do this for 4+ hours today. I'm just gonna sit at my computer and do this because I want to grind out and optimize the build and blah blah and try and get my items. People want to do that. So I I personally don't really jump into that pool, which is why I'm enjoying Diablo right now for what it is, which is just more new stuff to do. You slay some mobs. You I enjoy the artistic style of the game. Good
Yeah.
job. Very good. Very grotesque, very demon-like. Feels a lot like the hordes of hell and evil creatures about are trying to take me down. Well done. Uh I don't know. I get the sense of like what Lilith does as the evil villain. Like she's a temptress. She tempts you, and she gives you everything you think you want, but with a price. And I like it. I'm like, okay, this is kind of nice. It's unique. It's not like the other freaking uh sins. All the other ones who are like, Lord of Terror, obviously, Baal, Mephisto, all that. They're very different. Lilith it's cool. It's a very cool idea. It's very cool that she's temptation. She's like, I will give you what you want, but I will take a price from that. Very, very good. Good stuff. So yeah, I'm enjoying the game for what it is right now, but when I get to the grind point, we'll see how much more I wish to commit. Because like I've seen the people getting to 100, and I'm starting to get the sense of like, okay, that is going to take a really long time.
It takes, yeah.
It's going to take
Again.
You've played much more
We're
than
in
me,
the
but
yeah, in the 60s. It's taking a long time to level up, and like, yeah, it gets quite grindy in the end game. And I will say the renown grind, like getting to max renown in every zone, was
ooh,
not particularly fun either.
nope. Imagine it's not. Imagine it's terrible, actually.
Because the side quests are, I don't like the side quests for the most part. I
Yeah, they're
think they're very
boring.
boring. I
They're
think they're very boring.
they're
Um,
MMO side quests. Slightly better, I guess, because you're not delivering something across the street. But
some of some of them actually seemed like they had good stories,
yep,
but the problem is I had already reached the point where I had done enough fetchy, crappy side quests that
yep,
I was already fed up with the side quest stories, so I
yep.
just started skipping the story of the side quests.
Oh,
The
I
when
skip the story.
it
I
seems
always
like
do.
I got to the actual good ones, because so there may be some that have good stories, but there's a lot of crappy fetchy ones,
Yeah,
and there's some of them that are pretty long. Like they're like multiple step side quests. Like, okay, do this, kill a bunch of crap, go back, do another thing, go in and do another thing, and it's like, can we? I don't know.
there was a full
It's
exorcism side quest tree. It was like you do like multiple exorcisms,
yeah.
and
I
that
actually
one
like
was
that. I
good.
like
Like
that
that one
one.
was good. I was
Like,
like, okay, like we're building on a little short story. I like that.
yeah,
But then there's the
that was
ones
one
where
of
it's
the
like
side quests that, yeah,
kill 50 bugs, and I'm like, kill your 50 bugs, you witch. Like, kill the dogs, kill 50 wolves. Like, oh my
yeah,
god, really, 50 wolves? Some of them too, you're just like running around like, oh god, where are the fucking bees to kill? Where are they? You're like running around. It would be nice if it was not necessarily just like kill 50 bees or like kill
yep.
50 corpses so you can collect their like flesh kind of thing. It's like, okay. Kill 50 bandits, then kill 50 cannibals, which are just more bandits kind of idea, like I understand that's going to exist in games like this, like, but man, I'm running into it a lot. And I'm like, okay.
Yep.
I want more of that exorcism side quest. That was good. That was good. There was a whole thing there. I loved it. And then I
The
was
other
like, oh,
thing
this
I'll
is great.
say, as far as the story goes, I think the story's okay. It takes a long time to get going. I found Acts 1 through through 3. Actually, mostly acts 1 through 5. Terribly boring. The last act is really good though.
Okay, good. Because
Um,
I'm like, okay.
there are a lot of fetchy side quests in the campaign where it's like, we got to the place that we need to go. Oh no, we need this other thing. Go fetch the thing. And
Here,
is it Act 3 where you're just like chasing Elias around the whole act is just like,
that sounds like the
oh
worst.
god, it sucks.
I'm like, I'm
Act
just
3 is
zooming.
terrible.
I kind of half listen to the current story because I'm like, yeah, there's nothing here. It's just like Lilith is being Lilith right now, and I'm just trying to track her. But like, all you're seeing is like, yeah, Lilith tempted me, and now the whole place is corrupted. You have to kill me, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, yep. We already got the sense of what Lilith does as her villainous like act. She tempts
Yeah.
you and corrupts you with knowledge, with things you need, things you desire. Here's one complaint I have already. They show that too much. It's like I saw it already a few times. I got it. I got that side of it.
I wanted more Lilith. I like Lilith is probably my favorite part about the campaign. There's a couple of like side characters in the campaign that I thought were decent, but like Lilith is probably my favorite character in the campaign. I think she's a really interesting villain. My problem with it is you're
Mhm.
just chasing her the whole time.
That's
You
the
don't
yes.
you literally don't interact with her until you kill her at the end of the game. You never see her other than like through visions and stuff like that until
Yes.
you fight her and kill her at the end of the game.
Which is
Like
surprising to me how people were like, "Oh, this is a great story." I'm not buying that yet. I like what
I
she
think this
does.
for me the story is really mid for me.
Yeah.
The end of the story is really good. The climax act 6 is really good, but most of it leading up to it is really boring and fetchy and you're just chasing Lilith the whole
Yeah.
time. It's pretty
You chase
annoying
her
for me.
and it's just more and more of like, "Oh, she tempted me with gifts or like things that I my desires and I got what I wanted but in the wrong way or like she tricked me." And I'm like, "I saw that 3 times already." Like, I don't need to see it again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to see, I don't need to see this kind of thing over and over and over and over again to reinforce why she's evil or what she does to like gain what she wants, like get what she wants.
Mhm.
I don't need to see that over. Like I can see it a few times. But I've seen it like 4 times already. And I'm kind of to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to see her now or you need to show me something different because I don't need to see that again. I've got it. I've got it. You don't got to keep telling me. That's like if I told you how to make a sandwich. You made the sandwich. And then the next day I told you how to make a sandwich. And the next day, and the next day. Eventually, you'd probably get super annoyed and you'd tell me, I got it, Otto. I can make the sandwich now. Thank you. I figured it out. I have figured out her process to get what she wants. You don't have to keep showing it to me and explaining it to me. I've got it. That's my problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
like
worry. Like
I don't get it.
Acts 3 and 4, you're gonna spend the majority of the time chasing around her minion. His name is Elias.
Yeah,
Um, and figuring out how to kill him because it turns out he's immortal, so you have to figure out how to kill him.
wonderful. What wonderful. I just
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! You have to fight him like 6 times. It's fucking annoying.
fucking for God's sake. Like no, we don't need Warden the Warden. We don't
Yeah,
need the
no.
Warden. Oh god, they didn't learn from Halo 5? What was his name? Warden
Yeah, I don't know.
Eternal?
Warden Dickbag. I don't
Warden
remember his
Eternal or
name.
whatever?
Yeah, the Warden Eternal. I think
He's
that's
just
right. Well, he was Eternal because you had to fight him
you had to
like
fight like
12
5
times in the
times.
campaign.
It's just like you don't need to do that. We got it. We got it. Cool, we got it. I don't know, but like some game designers are like, well, you fought him 3 times. Why not
And
4?
don't worry, you'll get to the most exciting quest in the game soon in Act 3 where you follow a drunk guy around through the desert with a camel. That's a fun quest.
did somebody design that thinking it was a good idea? I always wonder, like, do you think they gave it to an intern and they're like, hey, like, we kind of need a quest. Like, we're busy. We're drinking right now on the job. We're busy. Can you make a quest for us? Yeah, I guess I could make like a you walk with a camel and a drunk guy. Yeah, just put it in. We're we're tired. Just put it in, man. We need you to get this in there. Can you please hurry? Like, that's so bad. Like, I don't want to follow people. This is an
It's
Assassin's
such
Creed.
it's
Assassin's
such a bad
Creed is the
it's such a bad
classic
quest.
follow this guy. That is classic Assassin's Creed quest line. Follow me. It's like, no, I don't want to follow you because you walk so goddamn slow.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically for me, I think the campaign is like very mid.
Yep.
The end of the story is good, but for like I would say like 70 to 80% of the campaign is just like boring fetch quests,
Yep.
and it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind
So
of there.
I think the campaign it's fine. It's probably better than Diablo. It's better than Diablo 3, but that's not saying a
That
lot.
yeah,
Um,
that wasn't saying a ton.
and the
Diablo,
story is good the story is definitely good at the end. Like the climax, Act 6 is really really good in
good.
my opinion, but like Acts 2 and 3 especially, and like parts of 4 and 5 are as well. Actually 4 is really short. Acts 4 is really short. Um, but yeah, like Acts 2 and 3 especially, and then like half of Act 5 and Act 4 is just like, yeah, it's just boring for the majority is boring.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm getting that sense because I'm like playing through it, and I am I'm paying attention as best I can for the main story, and I'm like, again, I'm like, okay, but didn't you just show me Lilith, like how she enthrall like gets people to be enthralled by her? You already showed me that like 3 times.
no, yeah. Acts like 1, 2, and 3 are all just like you're chasing Lilith around. You see that she, tempted somebody, and then you either fight that person in some way or they're just like dead. It's
Yeah,
just like, all right, here's another side character that Lilith got control of, and now they're dead. All right, we met the
which
side character and now they're dead. All
I'm
right,
like,
cool.
that could have just been one act, you know? Could have just been one act. You could have just shown me that act one and then that's it. And then maybe act two is you're starting to chase.
Well,
Act
no,
three is like
because
a
Act 1,
confrontation.
2, and 3, Act 1, 2, and 3 theoretically you can do in any order, so they're all kind of the same in different places.
Yeah, but couldn't that have just been one act? You
Nope.
know? Couldn't we just been like maybe just the one where you kill the mother to get to the necropolis or whatever it's called? Um couldn't that could have just been that. Like I got the sense of what Lilith does to people from that. Like I got it. That couldn't have just been one act instead of like 3. And then like maybe the second act would have been more like, okay, let's chase after her a little. What is she after? Like what is her actual desire? Like what is she looking for? And then maybe 3, maybe we get like a confrontation with her for the first time. She kind of puts you in her place, in your place, and then 4 is like, you know, like a reasonable story would probably do. We couldn't have had that.
Nope.
Instead, we have to
And even
follow a
at the
drunk guy
end,
with a camel.
like even at the end, and I don't want to spoil it or
Yeah, no,
anything,
no.
but they like they kind of give you the sense that like actually maybe what Lilith is doing like isn't so bad. Maybe she's not really the bad guy. Like her methods are obviously
Bad.
pretty pretty terrible, but it becomes like at the end it becomes a choice, but they don't let you make the choice. It's like, well, we could side with Lilith or we could side with this other thing, and they're both kind of suck, but I don't know. And part of you wants to side with Lilith, and so like that was interesting. But my problem was I never understood like what Lilith, like what her plan was, like what she actually wanted to do.
Right.
And then like I don't know. So
Yeah. It's
oh yeah, and they expansion bait
yeah, of
super
course they
fucking
do.
hard at the end.
Of
It's
course they do.
it's super cliffhangery
Of
at the end.
course.
Like
You gotta sell your $40 expansion. You gotta sell it. You gotta sell the DLC or whatever this next Battle Pass season's gonna be. Whatever, who cares? You gotta sell that. You gotta sell it. So, yeah. I mean, like, Game's okay so far. I'm having some fun slaying hordes, and I'm doing my bleeding and exploding. It's great. Very fun. Very fun times are being had. At some point, if I actually take this more seriously, I'll have to look up a build
Yep.
because I don't think what I'm doing is actually perfect.
Let me give you a hint, and anything can work in the campaign. The campaign's pretty easy for the
Yep.
most part. Um, but so the way damage works in this game is very interesting, and you would have to watch a YouTube video or be told this by someone to figure it out because it's not intuitive at all.
Yep.
But there are damage buckets,
Okay.
and so the damage buckets are basically like your main stat is one, and the damage buckets are like multipliers, right? So if you have multiple damage buckets, you're getting multiplied like multipliers for your damage.
Yep.
So your main stat. So for barbarian, it's strength.
Correct.
For my class sorcerer, it's intelligence. That just increases your skill damage, so that's good. Um, crit. Crit
Yep.
is a damage bucket. Vulnerable
Yep.
is a damage bucket. Um, attack speed in a way is a damage bucket, but that's, not as important. And then there's the everything else bucket, which is all those modifiers like damage to close, healthy, burning, with this type of skill, with that type of skill, all the conditional ones that you see, those affixes on all, those are all one damage bucket, and they're all additive, so those aren't as good as the other ones. Obviously, you're going to have some of those, so you're going to have some of that damage.
Yep.
But basically, what this means is, and I don't like this at all, I have a suspicion of why they did it, and that is to try to keep the crazy Diablo 3 numbers, keep the numbers down a little bit. Like, your numbers get pretty high at the end, but
Yep.
in Diablo 3, you were literally doing like quadrillions of damage or something by the end. It was just like
It was
obscene.
silly.
So they wanted to keep that down. The problem with it is in the end game, if you make a build that doesn't use one of those damage buckets, your build is bad. If your build doesn't have vulnerable in it, your build is bad. If your build doesn't have crit in it, it's bad.
Yeah.
And for sorcerer, the only source of vulnerable damage is Frost Nova. So
Oh.
you literally have to use that skill as a sorcerer. This is terrible game design, in my opinion.
Oh Jesus. I think barbarian, fortunately, like for the bleed, you can get vulnerable on your regular attacks. I think you can just get it. Um, you can get crit. You can stack on crit. I think. I mean, bleed is one of the things that you're doing for damage anyway. But you also have like a regular damage with that.
Yeah, dots can't crit though.
Dots
Bleed
can't
cannot
crit.
crit.
Yeah, but the ability where I stab them and it
Yeah,
explodes,
rupture. Yeah.
rupture can crit. I think. Um, and then the everything else bucket. I mean,
You're
the
you're gonna
additive
have
bucket.
you're gonna have some of
You'll
those. You
have
just
some of
want the
that.
ones that go with your build,
But
right?
like
That that's
the
that's fine.
but the
But
bleed one does I think get vulnerable. It can use crit, but like it's a bleed build, so like you're trying to get the bleed up, and then the whole point of it is when you get a monster to full bleed, you pop them, and it pops everything else.
yeah.
That's like my goal. So my problem is the damage mitigation has to be handled from shouting. Like
Oh yeah.
shouting is where I mitigate damage, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing is like all the barbarian builds that I've seen, I haven't played barbarian and I don't really know how it works, but like the end game barbarians builds that I've seen, they all use all three shouts and then they
Yes.
use like I mean the best one is whirlwind. You use all three shouts, you have a whirlwind
Yep.
and then I think you have Wrath of the Berserker
Yeah.
and then you probably have a basic skill because you have to generate fury.
Yeah.
So
So like I assumed whirlwind was the best skill. I just wasn't. At some point I'll read up on it. I'm sure there's other things you can do, but like my gut was telling me I was like, okay, all these shouts are good. That you need all of them. It seems like. So you're gonna need all shouts and then one other actual damage ability. One other ability is where the damage comes from, and whirlwind is the obvious one. Whirlwind is just the obvious one because
yep,
you can get it to a point where you can just infinite whirlwind.
yep,
With all these certain benefits if you just have a mob near you. It's like that
yep.
to me seemed like the obvious build, but that's so I won't say it's boring, but like I don't want to do that. I want to try other stuff initially.
Yeah. No, that's
Um,
fine.
and bleeding is fun. The bleed build is really fun to just pop stuff. But yeah, the actual build would probably be something along the lines of like just start shouting and whirlwinding. You
Yeah.
just scream and
Well,
whirlwind at the same
for
time.
my sorcerer, this is my build. I have all 4 defensive skills: Flame Shield, Teleport, Frost Nova, and Ice Armor.
Yep,
Firewall and Inferno. Inferno's the fire ult.
yep,
That that's
that's it.
that's the setup. Like,
Usually it seems like you just have one damage skill. That's your primary damage. That's your damage. You have some way to generate your actual resources if you need that. But like you have one damage skill and everything else is like, can I increase my speed for the attack or whatever else I need to do, and then defenses. How can I increase my defenses so I don't die right away? That's pretty much what it seems like. He's just like, he got one damage ability,
yeah,
which sounds a lot like Diablo 2 to me. In Diablo 2, everybody pretty much had like one damage ability, and was everything else they had was like, I just don't want to die,
yep.
or I'm like buffing the damage ability.
So yeah, the devs have touted this like play your way. There's all these different builds, but like I kind of like sorcerer's okay, but again, the problem is all the builds are like similar with like a hint of like change. Like the lightning build uses arc lash and the lightning ult, and then I'm pretty sure it uses all 4 defensive skills.
But yeah, because you don't want to die. You just have to. Like the barbarian, if you're not doing the shout, you're not getting damage mitigation enough, so you're just gonna
Yeah,
die. So you have to do that. Like I don't want to necessarily take intimidating shout at all. But if I don't get the damage mitigation. So I
yeah,
have to take it. Which isn't necessarily like a horrible thing, but at the same time, it seems like it reduces my options. Because like, well, I have to have a shout. Seems like I need this other shout because the other shout's good. And there's also another shout that's very good. So I'm like, eh. So that's why for the campaign, I'm probably gonna just like mess around, do my own thing, have some fun.
yeah.
But like,
Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want in the
but
campaign. It
like
doesn't really matter.
Whirlwind is a good ability. It only really requires Fury, and you just use that ability. With Bleed, you need to use multiple abilities for Bleed to really start functioning well. Like the Bleed into Rupture is how it works. But with
Yep.
Whirlwind, you just kind of do this, and then you shout a few times. You just go Whirlwind. That is like that's the ideal setup. It's easy. It's very easy, and it can be used the most. No cooldown, just Fury, and you can use it because you can regenerate Fury with various like I think you can do like maybe the shout does it too, but like you can generate Fury because you kill stuff when Wind Fury, Whirlwind. Excuse me,
Hmm.
Whirlwind regenerates Fury on Whirlwind. You can get that. So I don't know. It seems like game's fun, but I don't know. You start to see where the cracks are.
Oh yeah, you start to see the cracks. Again, I don't like this damage bucket system because again, if your build doesn't have crit or vulnerable in the end game, your build's bad. And I just don't feel like they should limit the build, so like you should be able to stack other things and make your
Right.
build competitive.
Right.
But again, if your build is, and my build is my build can't crit, but there is a one of the burning legendary node on the Paragon board makes it so that it scales your burning off of your crit damage and your
Oh,
intelligence. So
so
like
that's
that
why you'd
puts
want to do that.
that puts crit into it, but you can't actually crit because it's dot
But still,
damage. But
you can get the boost up.
again, for sorcerer, like literally the only source of vulnerable is Frost Nova, or I think the Ice Conjuration Ice Blades can do it as well, but Frost Nova's better. So
That's just silly.
um,
That's just silly.
so I don't know. I think they need some balance adjustments, like more ways to get vulnerable, or and again, there is no way you would know this about these damage buckets unless you are told this by somebody or watch a video on it,
Right.
because there's nowhere in the game that talks about this.
Yeah, there's no
like,
tutorial for that.
And also apparently the resistance stat, either all resist or single element resist, is just completely worthless, basically, in the game. Like,
So if
it
I
gives
have
you
like,
so little. It gives you so little damage mitigation in compared to like
just
armor
armor, yeah.
or the conditional damage reduction things like damage reduction or damage reduction from close, damage reduction from burning,
Right.
like etc. etc. So
Cool.
yeah,
Good
stacking
stuff.
resistances.
Thanks.
If you see like any individual element resist like fire, poison, cold on an item, that item's bad because you don't want that. You should
want
roll
something
that.
else.
You should roll that. Either roll that off or get rid of that item because
Yep.
it's dog shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, like in the main story, it doesn't matter, but after the main story, you have to think about that. Even during the main story, like it doesn't matter. Like honestly, I think they made it so like it doesn't make a huge difference. I bet in the main story, but like you're trying to do nightmare dungeons at level 100, you need to know that stuff. So I mean, but would have been nice to be told that, but glad somebody at least figured that out and shared it.
yeah. So I'm saying a lot of negative stuff right now. I like the game. I think it's really fun.
Yep.
It does get very grindy in the end game as expected. The campaigns, as I said, I think it's okay.
Yep.
It did not blow me away like a lot of people said it did for them. I thought it was fine. The story was good at the end, but for the most part, the campaign was kind of boring, to be honest.
I'm with you. I'm like, so far, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff, and I don't need to see it. I got it the first time, actually. It's certainly a bit silly to see to get that over and over again to reinforce a point I already got.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I don't have anything else to say with Diablo in particular. Like, I'm enjoying what I'm experiencing so far. I can't really like say I regret anything.
No, I don't either.
I look forward to finally getting past Age of Wonders final mission. At least if I can't get it by tomorrow, I'm giving in for the time being. I'm gonna wait for the expansion and mess around with that.
Wait for the expansion to come out. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so difficult though. I don't understand why they did it like this. Your enemy is so powerful, and they just, the AI is like, oh, I'm more powerful than you. Here I come.
Yep.
And the free cities are all enemies, and they constantly send stuff at you, and it's very annoying. It's just annoying. But the main enemy will throw, like, by turn, I saw this. By turn, like, 30 to 40, they'll throw 3,000 plus power at you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And you're like, so what I found you do, there's another method, but I've got it so far. But one, you gotta be aggro really fast and get your hero levels up. But two, you have to somehow catch them where they're fighting one of your allies or something, or you have to get them to like basically clear an infestation for you and weaken themselves. Additionally, you could use like, I guess, world magic.
Can you catch their armies split up ever, where like they don't have all three of their stacks together?
Rarely. The AI is pretty darn smart about this. They'll keep their stacks together in a way where they will always be available. But the another thing you can do, so all their armies are weak to cold, which I'm discovering, by the way. So, you can start to go into the cold trees and start slamming them with cold. And also like the world spells.
Yeah.
You can just hit them with world spells a few times too to weaken them. That's kind of where I've gotten to. Is like, okay, like I go aggro early and like build up a decent army power really quickly, which means I go like a little bit into the barbarian side. I go into the chaos tree, and then I get cold. So like I buff my units with cold damage, and the enemies are weak to cold damage. I found, so I stack cold, and that is where I'm at. I am slowly discovering the weaknesses of this massive army. The other issue is his allies tend to like to go magic victory, so I gotta handle them too, and it pisses me off. My allies don't get magic victory fast enough, so it's a problem, and I'm starting to solve it. So that's why I'm giving myself another day or two. But anyway, it's hard. I don't know if you've gone to. You probably haven't because of Diablo, but like
No,
story
I've
mission
just been
5.
playing Diablo. Yeah, as I told you, I beat mission 3, but I haven't played since then. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you still have 4 then. 4 you should. 4 my advice will help with. 5 my advice is you gotta stack cold damage and be super aggressive to level up your heroes, because heroes are busted. So heroes are so powerful. You kind of just have to use them and make sure that your hero is really powerful. So anyway, yeah, I'll be getting back into Diablo this week, and hopefully I can beat the story by then. That'd be great. So anyway, I don't have anything else.
Yeah,
I haven't been doing anything else.
I'm good.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, let's call it here then. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will be back this coming weekend. We'll have more to talk about for Diablo, maybe a little bit more. Next week will be the Age of Wonders expansion. I said Age of Wonders right. Perfect. I was like thinking, I didn't say Empires again, right? Age of Wonders, the expansion will be out sometime next week, the 20th, and then yeah, we'll see what else. We'll see what else we have to talk about. Hopefully, we won't have to necessarily talk about Twitch being a massive L again. Maybe there'll be something else we can talk about.
I'm sure there will be another Twitch L at some point in the future. I don't know when, but usually every couple of months they have one. So we'll see.
It's been a couple months. Where's Twitch's L?
Where's the Twitch L?
Where's the Twitch L, guys? All right. Well, that's it for us. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for coming by.